Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today the addiction continues with Insurgency. This might be my favorite, or admittedly what I consider to be one of the best first-person shooters that came out in 2014. Don't get me wrong, there were some other great contenders, but the fact that this is an indie game and it provides gameplay and combat that is pretty unique to the genre, mixing realism but at the same time being approachable, I just can't get enough of Insurgency. Like, every time I'm not playing Battlefield or one of these other huge AAA titles, I have this pull, this constant nagging in the back of my brain to go and have fun with this game. And it's simply just because it is an absolute blast. And one thing that I adore about this title is the way that they've gone about their class system. You guys know that one large issue with games like Battlefield or Team Fortress 2 even is that you'll join an objective-based match, like Rush for example, but half your team will be sniping 1,000 meters away from those objectives. You're doing everything in your power to push up on the MCOM and arm it for your team to hopefully secure the victory, but simply because you don't have the manpower, you don't have enough bodies on the front line, it feels like it's nearly impossible for you to even get close to those MCOMs, and you have no hope of actually winning that round. You guys know when that happens, it is really frustrating. And I'm not saying that those recons don't have any right to snipe. They paid their $60, they paid for the game, they can play it however they want, but it also is just very frustrating when you encounter those rounds, especially if you're someone who does go in there trying their best to win for their team. And so what I love about the way that they've approached Insurgency is that while there are still class roles that you're gonna have to fill, all of them have their strengths and weaknesses, if you join a round that already has 2 snipers, you're out of luck if you wanted to play as that class. You're gonna have to settle for something like the engineer or the sharpshooter. And while I can definitely see where this could be a little frustrating, if you had your heart set on one role, you wanted to snipe, like that's the reason why you bought Insurgency, that can be a little annoying, and I get that viewpoint. At the end of the day though, the class balance or the team dynamic overall is far superior because for the most part, you have a team cohesion that has all the necessary tools for you to at least have an amazing round. You don't have these matches like you do in Battlefield where you're playing on a Conquest Large and almost everyone is running as the assault class because they want to use the best weapons in the game. You're getting dominated by tanks, you have no way of taking out these vehicles, your team just gets decimated, but simply because everyone refused to switch on over to another class because they wanted to have these assault rifles, you just get decimated. Same thing goes for, half your team as a recon on Rush. These moments do happen in Battlefield, and well, I'm not saying that there are not terrible matches in Insurgency, like don't get me wrong, there are some matches where it just feels like you're hitting a brick wall. At the end of the day, I just like the way that they went about their class dynamic and just the team balance in general. Another thing that I cannot praise this game enough for is the way that they've gone about their customization. I wish more games did this. It's very similar to the pick 10 system from Call of Duty, or the pick whatever, I think they're up to 13, but they take it a step further by allocating different points to all of the guns. And so if you decide to use one of the best assault rifles in the game, it has a crazy amount of a stopping power, it's gonna cost a little bit more points compared to something that might be a little bit weaker. And so yeah, you're using an amazing weapon, but you're also not gonna maybe have access to a heavy barrel, or one of the great scopes, or the foregrip that will reduce some of that recoil. And so while if you're able to master that particular weapon, it could do a lot for you, it might just be a little bit more advantageous to use a slightly weaker weapon, load it up with all these amazing attachments, and then go to town that way. I'm not saying that it's flawless. I'm sure that there are combinations that are far superior than others, but I just love the way that it allows you to really experiment with different loadouts and rewards you for doing that. Like if you want to go full-on explosives, you just want to throw grenades and smokes everywhere, you can do that. You want to use an RPG? Well, it has a crazy amount of killing potential. You fire this off into a building, a lot of people are going to die, but you're not going to have access to a very good weapon. Like it really does force you to think about how you want to approach combat and gives you the strengths and weaknesses that you are then going to have to avoid or take advantage of. I seriously cannot get enough of the way that they've gone about the customization. I think it's fantastic. One thing that could be contributing to my addiction, and the reason why I'm loving this so much, are moments like this. You know, if you've ever played Insurgency or if you've ever watched a video, the time to kill is crazy fast. Like, basically, you die instantaneously, and that means that if you make one wrong step, you make one false move, peek your head out over a window, lean out from the corner of a building, and an enemy is looking in your general direction, you're gonna die instantaneously. And so that means that when you have a kill streak where you're killing 5, 6, 7 plus people in one life, it makes it that much more enjoyable. Your heart is pounding throughout the entire thing. You got just tingly feels all over your body, and the excitement level just skyrockets because you know at any given time, one false move, one little mistake, you're gonna be back, you're gonna be down on the ground having a nice little nap. And I love that excitement. I love that thrill of going on those amazing kill streaks, getting that awesome flank off because of just the basic mechanics and how Insurgency performs. Now, I realize that I probably sound like a huge fanboy right now, and that's acceptable because I am, but it leads me to a topic that I wanted to talk about, and I mentioned it before, and that is where you sit down and you pick up your controller, or you sit down on your PC, or even if you're just going about your daily activities, or you're at work, where you have this itch at the back of your brain where you're thinking, oh my god, I want to play this game right now. We had a blast last night. All of our friends were on. We had these incredible moments, and that's what I'm experiencing right now with Insurgency. When I get done with doing my daily task, you know, I just did the dishes, and I go upstairs to figure out what I want to do, I immediately look at Steam, I find Insurgency, I'm like, yep, this is what I want to do right now. I have had these moments my entire life while gaming, and while right now it's Insurgency, you know, last week it was Dragon Age Inquisition, it was, you know, it was Battlefield 2 many years ago. It's happened my entire life, and so I wanted to ask you guys, is there a game right now where you have this feeling, where you sit down, you pick up your controller, and you're like, hot damn, I want to play some Titanfall, or I want to play some Call of Duty? Let me know what it is down below, and maybe explain the reasons why. I mean, this is the reason why I game. This is the reason why I basically made this a profession, because I love these moments. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I'm glad you could indulge me with my addiction with Insurgency. But until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.